G'day guys, Duckville here for game number 3 between our Protoss and Zerg combatants. We are on GSL dual side. I almost forgot what the map was there, but no need to worry about that. You just need to have a look at this Nexus and see that there are some flames coming out of the bottom of that thing, and that means we're on the dark side perhaps of dual site. Our Protoss over here in the purple is SinandShin, aka dtgSickness. He's going to be fighting against a red Zerg over here who is unfortunately pulled out a very crazy strat in the previous game, but was unable to pull it off. Sickness with some nice micro on his Immortal, and then a counter attack with a Warp Prism and a Proxy Pylon. Was able to defend the Proxy Hatch with the spines and all of that jazz, and was then able to proceed to just push through and win from there. So we'll see what these guys are going to get up to this time. Interesting to note that Sickness is, I think in all of these games, has not scouted on the Pylon probe that started out there. So it's a little bit weird to see that, if I must say so. Not being prepared for any sorts of early sort of Ling strats. Of course, you can still see that at some of the higher levels when players like to get out that early pull, especially on a map that can be favorable for Protoss to expand early on. This is actually a pretty good map to expand on with the Forge Fast expand, but there can be times where you can run into a little bit of trouble sometimes. We've seen, especially, I believe it was at MLG, we saw Dongregu just destroying Protoss all over the place with on this map, using some Baneling drops and that sort of thing. But we'll see what happens here with this game. It looks as if SinandShin is prepared to try and block the second gas there. Is able to get the drone on there just in time. The second gas now going up again. Sickness going for this fast double gas strategy, obviously allowing him to get out those early tech units we saw in the previous game. Allowed him to get that robotics facility up pretty quickly, along with a few sentries as well, and in the game before that allowed him to get to the DT tech pretty quickly as well. So we'll see how this goes here. Just about to finish off that wall off with the cybernetics core. We'll probably see a zealot pop out in just a second as well. Probe just hanging out at the bottom of the ramp at the natural here for Sin, and is just going to hang out here and cause some trouble perhaps. And it looks as if another drone. I wonder if we're going to see this again from Sin, if he's going to try that Proxy Hatch strat. I don't think it'll be the best idea. We saw in that previous game that it just was not feasible against someone like Sickness, who, especially with his Immortal and Prism micro, you don't want to mess with that, especially with Spine Crawlers, because they're just never going to hit anything. But here he comes. Finally does come down to the natural here, gets a cancel on the Pylon before it dies to the Lings, and the 4 Lings will be forced to chase after that probe, the hatch then going down. So just wanting to see how Sickness is going to proceed with this. I think we are going to see that 3-gate expand again. The 3-gate sentry expand, a very safe build, of course. If you go for a 1-gate expand, it's a little bit scary from time to time. If you're facing against the Protoss, we saw it against the Zerg, sorry, who like to do any sorts of road shenanigans early on in the game. And here we go. Looks as if those Lings will be caught inside again for Sin. He's been really unfortunate with his Lings at the start of these games. Losing a couple of them very early on is not the way you want to proceed with the start of the game, but he's just mining off the gas with 1 drone in there. I believe this is, yeah, he's just so he's got the speed just about done here. The Evo chamber also on the way. We could see, he's put a couple more drones inside that. We could see a perhaps an early Ling pressure, maybe with some Banelings. We'll see what happens. I have seen a very interesting build from the Koreans with a fast +1 on the Banelings and the Lings, and it just becomes very hectic to try and defend against that. You'll get whoops, and then getting a bit happy, trigger happy there with the Guardian Shield, just making sure he is prepared against any possible missile units that come along. But the Lings did see that, so they're probably laughing about that, is our good friend Sin. But 3 gates just on the way here, heading out to expand with that probe. Should be able to hold this quite easily with a lot of these sentries out. Sin is just having a look at what is going on, finds that the Nexus is there, and should be proceeding as normal with this match. So still no second, third or fourth gas here from Sin, so I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too high-tech just for the initial part of the game. He does have the lair on the way. Could mean that we will have that Baneling attack that I mentioned, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not an expert on Zerg, but I'm pretty sure you need a second gas. In fact, he is going to get that second gas now. He's going to get that out and hopefully have some more gas for when he prepares to attack. Sickness, meanwhile, does have the forge coming down at the natural here. A nice little pylon wall there, although keep in mind that that is very thin. It's not the greatest of walls to defend against banelings. Meanwhile, getting out a lot of probes here. We've got him sitting at 27, although Sin is doing a great job himself. He's up to 35 drones at the moment, just a few lings out on the map still, and we'll see how he's going to move on. It looks as if the cannon is going to go up in the natural expansion here. The almost cancelling that cannon there, but it looks as if he is going to proceed with his push. There's a few sentries in the mix, along with a couple of stalkers as well. Back at base for Sin, he only has these few lings that are already down here, and now these extra lings are going to push around just to try and see if he can find if there is anything going on, and he will see that there is an attack here. Meanwhile, pylon going up is going to help out with bolstering this attack. The 3-gate pressure is about to come along here from Sickness. Meanwhile, as we just saw, I just pointed that out, Sin has got a spire on the way in a very interesting spot. He's gotten an overlord down here to drop some creep, and is then putting the spire down here at that very odd position where it is highly unlikely that Sickness will see that. No, he still hasn't seen that just yet, but here we go. It looks as if he is going to go in for this attack. There are no zealots in this, which is very interesting to note. Of course, with this pylon here, I really like that pylon. It helps him wall off this position here. If he catches a couple of the lings inside some force fields, these guys will easily be able to take care of the lings. There we go. Beautiful. Killing off some of those lings and not losing much on these units at all. In fact, I don't know if anyone took a shot there. Good stuff there from Sickness. He does have +1 to weapons on the way. Third gas coming along as well as a Twilight Council. So we could be looking at a switch into perhaps some Blink Stalkers, or perhaps he might want to try and head into the DT tech again. But that Spire is just about to complete over here from Sin, so he's ready for that. But some beautiful force fields holding back the lings here from Sickness, and his Stalkers are able to move inside. The spores, the Spine Crawlers, I should say, now pushing in, trying to burrow down, but one of them is caught on the force fields there. But the lings do bust through. There was a small hole inside. These units are probably all going to go down here. I don't think there's a way for Sickness to save all of these. He does bring in a Zealot finally, but it looks as if that +1, which is not, in fact, the +1 hasn't kicked in just yet, so there's definitely no credit for that. But Sickness, keeping them pushed up against the wall, was able to limit the surface area for those lings. But now more and more lings coming through from Sin, so he should be able to clean this up and then get some mutas started, but he doesn't have any larvae available just yet, and Sickness not happy with how that went. Does lose the proxy pylon, going to lose this other one as well, and then we'll probably see after this drone round, which is just about to finish up, that Sin will probably head into a lot of mutas. We've got a lot of gas prepared for him. He's got 600, almost 700 gas, along with a lot of minerals as well, and there they go. 5 mutas on the way. Can probably crank out a couple more once he has some more larvae, and here comes the counter attack from Sin. He's decided to just push in there, doesn't get too much damage done. There's a lot available to defend here from Sickness. Will he be able to defend against the mutas? We'll see if he does. He does have Blink on the way. That is just over half done, and +2 to weapons also coming through as well, and +1 to the air attacks. Very interesting to see that from Sin, given that he's about to try and crank out some harassment with those mutas. But now the third base going up for Sin. He's going to try and keep this game going despite losing some of his drones and a lot of his lings at the start with that early pressure from Sickness. And interestingly, just having a look at the harvester count, we've got Sickness on 46 I should say, and then actually just catching up now, but the mutas now come out. I don't think Sickness was prepared for this at all. He does have a robotics facility, a couple of the Stalkers now blinking in, trying to take care of those mutas. They should be able to force them out for the moment. They do have the +1, of course, which means that they'll be able to do a nice amount of damage, taking out one of the Stalkers. A second group is, one of the mutas I should say, and the second group of Stalkers helping to defend the natural expansion here. So while he wasn't fully prepared with the blink already done, the defense there was very nice from Sickness. Has a few more Stalkers inside the main. These mutas are not going to get anything done at all, and once this robo kicks in, we'll probably see Sickness get a prism out and then head into an attack, but we'll find out very, very soon. So Sin has used these mutas just to cover this base getting up. Going to get a queen out of there and probably just really crank out some more drones. He really does need to bolster that economy. He's currently sitting at 50 drones. Probably wants that to be a little bit higher at this point of the game. We are 13 minutes in. He's currently sitting at around about 1,400 mineral income. So he's got to boost that up just a tiny bit, and then he'll be sitting at nice and pretty. So Sickness, meanwhile, is just really beefing up the force of Stalkers. He's got a decent amount here at the moment. We've currently got 16 Stalkers going to head over to grab that third base as well. We'll see how he's going to move along here. The Mutas may get caught out of position again, though, for Sin. He's actually lost one, maybe two. Here we go, a second volley there, but does not get any more. And some more Stalkers just prepared all over the map here for Sickness. So he's really well prepared for these Mutas now. He's done a great job of deflecting all of these attacks, and now with this, looks like some Lings are prepared for a counter-attack down here at the third base, but the Mutas now flying inside. That's starting to get a little bit dangerous. There are so many Mutas there, but more Stalkers warping in here for Sickness. Does lose a few of those probes, and one of the Stalkers at the front of the group is actually quite damaged. I hope he pulls that one back. But some Mutas badly rallied there for Sin, losing a few of those for no good reason at all, other than they were rallied onto this big group, and now the Muta's going to fly by, have a look at the natural there, and see if he can get anything done. But a cannon is up, the Stalkers are prepared, and he should not attack into that at all. So Sickness looking good at the moment here, getting a cannon up at a couple of cannons prepared at the third base. He's not going to be able to cover every single place on the map with these Stalkers. So and there it is, actually getting the Prism out, probably going to try and get some harassment done. Where is that Robo rally to? It's rallied down here for some reason, not exactly sure the purpose of that, but some Lings trying to counter and flank through Sickness here. Beautiful little surround with his own force fields there. Does cut out the attack from the Lings, and then the Mutas are going to pick off one lonely Stalker that was just heading out from the rest of the group. And see how Sickness proceeds from here. It looks as if he is going to be able to fend off the Lings at a minimum, but perhaps the Mutas may be too many. I think with their +1 they should be enough to attack into those Stalkers, but the Stalkers now with +2 are easily able to deflect the rest of these Lings. The Warp Prism possibly getting in a little bit of danger here. I think this is going to go down, unfortunately for Sickness. That removes any sort of reinforcements that he was hoping to get here. The Mutas now getting very low. I'm not sure if that's the best idea to try and push through with those. They are going to fly away and try and harass the top base here, but I don't think he's going to get anything done. Sickness is absolutely everywhere with these Stalkers, making sure he's prepared at every single base. And of course, with cannons as well, he should be able to hold off. And +3 to weapons just about to complete for Sickness here, so he's going to be in a really good shape. SinandShin is going to need to switch over and get some more tech out. Would love to see the Infestors pop out for him. If he doesn't get those, he's going to be in quite a lot of trouble, because there is a big ball of Stalkers now pushing across the map with +3 weapons just about to complete. They will be able to annihilate any of these Mutas that come out, and even just more Mutas now coming out from Sin. The Dark Shrine just about to complete for Sickness as well, so he's going to be able to bring in some DTs to help out with either Archons or just plain old DTs just running inside the bases and getting all sorts of damage done. Here they come. We've got 4 DTs in the mix. Another Prism is also out. We'll see if that catches the... he's going to find that Spire finally for Sickness. He's probably had no idea where it has been the whole game. DTs, though, now moving inside the third base. Going to find that there's no detection here at all. Mutas, meanwhile, trying to harass into the main, but not going to get too much damage done. He's going to have to be very careful with these Mutas, because they're almost in position to be attacked by the Stalkers. Stalkers, unfortunately, not being microed there by Sickness, and now looks as if that third hatch is done. The DTs have done their duty, and they will be heading back to the group and going to turn into some Archons there, which is really going to help out with any possible Ling or Muta attacks that will head into Sickness. And now we've got the Warp Prism just hanging out here. I'm not actually sure if these guys are just friends or something like that, or if he's going to get some units in, but it looks as if Sickness is going to try and push through. There is a counter-attack up the top at the third base of Sickness, warping in some Stalkers, and there is a sentry there to help out with Guardian Shield as well, reducing the damage done by the Mutas. But there are so many Stalkers now in the mix, and with the Archons to tank some of the damage, these Spine Crawlers are not going to get anything done at all. Look at these guys just beefed up to the max. They've taken their protein milkshakes, and they are just taking everything, handing out the Pimp Fist to any of these units here. And Sickness looks like he is going to split up some of his units. He knows that he should be able to win if he heads back and just clears out the rest of these Mutas. It looks as if a couple of cannons are going to get cancelled here for Sickness. The base race in progression right now. Looks as if Sin is going to just try and do what he can. Mutas and Lings inside the natural expansion here for Sickness. He's going to have to bring in some DTs, and he does indeed. Going to probably morph them into some Archons, I would say. But the unfortunate part is you can't get Archons up the ramp there. They're too fat. And there we go. It looks as if Sin has given up. He knows that he's in a lot of trouble now with no natural, no third base, and that is it for him. So GG's out. Great job by Sickness there with a little bit of a problem at the start of the game. He did some pressure, and then actually lost all of the units, but was able to come back with some nice blink timing, and then a lot of Stalkers all over the map, like they have a round the world ticket. And we will go have a look at the grand final match from the IPSL, which you have just been watching. Make sure you jump on the link for that next one, and I'll see you guys there.